The Imperial Navy has no luxury of replacement. The destruction of even the smallest warship represents the loss of hundreds of thousands of man-hours, of vital resources and technology. It is therefore no wonder that the greatest asset of the Enderium Armata are not the enormous battleships and grand cruisers, nor the vast fleet anchorages and battle stations that guard systems of vital importance, but rather any class of ship that might be easily repaired or replaced. In this respect, the most important vessel within the entire flotilla of the Empire might be the Enderium Destroyer. The backbone of the Imperial Navy, Enderium Destroyer, are likely the most ubiquitous warships within any of the sectors that divide the Imperialis Enderius. Over 600 are believed to be active within the core and Cobble sector alone, and many thousands more are scattered across the remainder of the western expanse. They can be found in every role a destroyer was designed to fulfill, from independent actions that include long-range patrols, commerce raiding, and reconnaissance, to screening larger capital ships within Imperial armadas. They have also become popular outside the Imperial Navy, with many ships of the class operated by the Engineering Corps and the crusading fleets of the Inquisition. Still others are commanded by prominent merchant guilds, or have been claimed by renegades or traitors. Their pervasiveness within Enderium service is due wholly to their comparatively uncomplicated design. They can be built in shipyards and facilities that might be otherwise unable to construct a ship of the line, and much of the work can be accomplished by unskilled labor. Many destroyers are famous purely by the site of their construction, whether over foundry and industrial worlds with no shipbuilding expertise, or even feudal worlds and agri-worlds lacking major industrial facilities. In this respect, the Enderium Destroyer, Lord Skakkus, is especially noteworthy, constructed in orbit of a primitive world with materials mined by local natives and then sacrificed at what they believed were Star Lords. Like all material that is produced in mass numbers across the realm of Enderius, the Enderium Destroyer can vary in its appearance and specifications depending on where it was constructed. This is further complicated by the decades of repairs and refits these vessels are subjected to, many of which are conducted during inopportune moments and require improvised modifications over regulated additions. Reduced to its base characteristics, a standard Enderium Destroyer is not particularly impressive within Imperial service. They are a mid-sized vessel, generally 1 kilometer in length, and a crew of roughly 3,000. Many of the elements that have come to characterize Enderium ship designs are present, including a heavily armored prow that gives way to a dagger-shaped, ostentatious superstructure. The Enderium Destroyer bristles with weapon emplacements, but its principal armament consists of deck-mounted torpedo launchers and immense concentrations of armor-piercing void batteries and more versatile laser cannons, railguns, and missile launchers. The ship's stern is dedicated to housing a conventional, subliminal plasma drive and null-point engines that allow for travel through the void. On its own, an Enderium Destroyer is generally considered to lack the ability to engage with the enemy at great distances and is most effective at medium or point-blank engagements. Experienced captains will therefore typically use the vessel's torpedoes to disrupt enemy movements and take advantage of this distraction to quickly close the distance with hostile vessels. Enderius doctrine, however, stresses that the Enderium Destroyer should almost always be deployed in a triumvirate, for it is when operating in tandem that the vessel truly shines. By forcing the enemy to divide their firepower between 3 mobile targets and covering one another's approach, destroyers have been known to destroy warships that greatly exceed their combined size, armament, and capability. Likewise, damage that might confine other classes of vessel to lengthy repairs within a shipyard can be repaired on an Enderium Destroyer in a fraction of the time. The relative ease of construction and modifications makes the Enderium Destroyer a fitting template for other vessels within the Enderium Navy. The up-armored and up-gunned Victoria class represents a recent attempt to create less expensive cruisers from Enderium Destroyer hulls. The Predator class replaces offensive armaments with vast launch bays for strike craft. The Subjugator class is equipped with the massive void cannon to make it not only effective, but devastating at long range, while the Theanoid class doubles the number of heavy batteries at the expense of its more versatile weaponry. Many other official and unofficial variants exist, with Merchants Guild in particular, commonly remove the forward torpedo tubes in favor of more cargo space. Fast, well-armed and armored, the Enderium Destroyer is a truly versatile platform for whatever variants or refits Enderius might consider.